he's going to speak a few words. He's going to speak a few
words? Okay.
Yes, and then, yes.
Yeah, I think I already spoke a lot, so I'm going to be very brief. Yeah, thank you it's a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect this, so it's just unfolding, and I'm just getting into the mood of the room. Yeah, I'm very glad I'm getting this kind of a stage to talk about the global Indian, and it's very interesting. When I look back on the journey of the global Indian, very quickly, it's for me about a hero's journey. So a hero's journey, I got to say, is of 4 stages, right? And it's typical of all the global Indian journeys. And it's about separation. You get separated, then you get the second stage is initiation, third stage is transformation, and the fourth stage is return. So that's how a hero's journey is made up of. And a hero's journey is literally the formula of great stories, the epics and movies. It's how a hero's journey happens. And I saw a parallel between a hero's journey and the global Indian journeys. Great global Indian journeys are all hero's journeys. And so I came across this idea, and if you look at it, there are 3 parts to the global Indian. There is a word, if you look at it here, there is the global Indian, and it has below it a hero's journey, and there's a foreword. And it's interesting how these ideas came together on the title of the book, and it took me 25 years for that to happen, right? It's as simple as that. And global Indian journeys are a fusion of so many ideas from so many places, right? For example, a hero's journey is interesting. That I also believe that a hero's journey happens if you follow your dream. The very, very important thing for a hero's journey to happen is that you have to follow your bliss. And in following your bliss, you will get to meet the people you're meant to meet. You will find coincidences, and you say, I get along with all these people. Because you went to a foreign land, a campus, a company, a new city, and you'll wonder, how can I get along with all of them? It's simply because you're following your bliss and you're on a hero's journey. So my hero's journey, it's so interesting that I go to the University of South Carolina, where I learned much of how and for me, I wanted to build from there a borderless world, right? And I enter the library of this is like 25 years ago, in 1992, 35 years or something, and I go down, and it's a huge library of 45 kilometers of books. And I pick up one book, a bunch of books. It was Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey, right, where I learned about the hero's journey. And I said, that's fascinating. And it remained with me about this concept of a hero's journey. In 1992, see, this is how global Indians are made, right? So that was a big milestone in terms of, that is a hero's journey. So it stayed with me. And then comes in 2000, 10 years later, I come across this word, the global Indian, right? And like all Indians do in the internet period, you go and register the domain name, global Indian. I have so many domain names, and one of them was the global Indian, 2001. So 1991, it was a hero's journey. In 2000, I get about the global Indian. Fast forward, I attended Harvard, and I attended Harvard's OPM. It's their flagship education, and at Harvard, I learned a very important thing. And one of the case study was on Dr. Devi Shetty. right? And it's when I realized a good business is one which mixes purpose, it balances purpose and profit. So there's another idea that got in, right? I said, oh, a good business is not about profit. A good business is one which balances purpose and profit, which makes a difference. And it uses, it's a force of good. A business must be a force of good. It must balance profit and purpose, and it must be there to make a difference. And for me, that's how I judge a business. How good is that business? And so I got a chance when I wrote the book to get even Dr. Devi Shetty to write the foreword. He was so sweet to write the foreword. So you can see a hero's journey. It was 1992. This was in 2018, and this was 2001. You know, so that's how Global Indians are made, right? Ideas from around the world, one from Boston, one from South Carolina, and one from California, and here is the idea of a Global Indian. So the idea of a Global Indian is basically of identity. Who is a Global Indian? You are all Global Indians on the way to become Global Indians. And so it's a way to know who is a Global Indian, to remind you you're on a journey. So to sum it up, Global Indian was written for two people. One is for the youth, to remind them that they could go on a Global Indian journey, right? They could have new heroes if they read the book, because like teenagers are like sponge, the youth are like sponge, they absorb somebody. So if they only know that there are heroes like this, and this is who is a real hero, they would make a difference. And the book is also written for the older generations, right, who have already settled, the NRIs, to remind them that you could be a Global Indian, you could return to India and give back something, right? And to remind them, to nudge them that there is something called purpose, and they could lead a more meaningful life if they gave back, if they returned. So at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of things of longevity and everything. You're going to live a long life. All of us are going to touch 100 years, right? And once you retire, by the time you're 60, you have another 40 years to live. What are you going to do with that 40 years? Make it a life filled with purpose. Find your purpose. And you can start purpose with deep intent. You tell, I want to do something good. I want to serve. So you could read the rest of your life with a sense of adventure and a sense of purpose, and it will be a very meaningful life. That's the idea of a Global Indian. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. Your words have given us plenty to think about, especially about balancing profit and purpose. Up next, entertainment, lifestyle and sports editor, Manjusha Radhakrishnan,
Yes.
will lead a fireside chat that dives deeper into Xavier's entrepreneurial journey.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. You keep the mic. My voice is quite loud.
Okay.
And yes, I trust we'll carry it forward. Listen, Xavier, I'm going to let you in on a secret. Normally, on a given day, I interview stars like Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Sania Mirza. These are big pop stars. But for this audio launch, what is different is you don't need borrowed star power. What you need is just you, because I think he's a hero of his own story. How many people can really boast that you are the poster boy of your own book? He is led by example. He's delivered pizzas. You were in a library too. Now you're a business tycoon based in India. You've paid it forward. You're almost like Shah Rukh Khan in Swades, really. So I have to say, well done you. And thank you for bringing this book. I really enjoyed it. Xavier, well done.
Thank you.
We are going to start on a fun note where we ask, if somebody were to play you in a biopic, which actor would you choose?
Oh, my best friend, Mahesh Babu.
Who's that? I'm sorry, Mahesh Babu. Oh, the Telugu superstar, yes. Yes.
He's my best friend.
Really?
Yeah.
Now here's a man whose GQ quotient is very high. I don't mean glamour. It means global Indian quotient. Well done, you. Firstly, you need to tell me what propelled you to write this book, because not every NRI is a global Indian, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it gives you the authority. But I think nothing. You got to put it together, right? Until I want to evangelize the idea, and I think nothing. You can't evangelize anything without having a Bible of sorts, you know. And I think it's meant to be that, the operating manual for the global Indian. And of course, my company is about, you know, I'm the founder and CEO of Y-Axis, and our caption is Creating Global Indians. And I just wanted to tell me, what does it mean to be a global Indian? It kind of extends the brand.
The brand Global India.
Yeah, the Global Indian, yeah.
I love that. When I read the book, the first thing that hit me is this book is not just for the privileged kids or privileged adults with access and born into wealth. It's for that top tier, let's say the small town kid or the hustler in Bangalore. I think it's for everybody, right? It's not meant for just the privileged Indians.
Yeah, you know, the first place I started this Global Indian journey, I mean, to evangelize the book, was in a low-income college in India called the Ambedkar College, B.R. Ambedkar College, which had all kinds of, you know, basically low-income students. And I gave everybody a book. I don't think they would have ever owned a book, like bound, hard copy, you know, because I think it's very important to ask, what do you want to become, right? You want to become an engineer, you want to become a doctor. But I think if to tell them, Bano Global Indian, it means, I don't know if you, the book on atomic habits, it says there are two types of habits, right? There is, so this, when you could either try to say, I want a visa, I want an admission. So they're outcome-based habits. They're easier ones, right? But you could have identity-based habits. When you have identity-based habits, you would say, like, say, I want to become a global Indian. So what does it mean to become a global Indian, right? So I try to push the idea of becoming a global Indian to the youth, starting with all those kids, because they may not reach London, but they would come to the other side of town, the high-tech city itself, and say, oh, I want to be like a global Indian. What does a global Indian be? Who is a global Indian? What would a global Indian do in the morning, right? He would change, what does he read, right? What does he eat? You know, so you change. So the identity-based habits are very different. So it's a little complex idea, but that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm just trying to tell Bano Global Indian.
Yes.
Right? And in doing that, in internalizing that, I think you will change a lot of habits. It's my hope.
Right. And what are the biggest stereotypes attached to, let's say, being an Indian abroad? There was a time when they said, right, you can't become a CEO if you are Indian, but now most of them say in the US. But now they say if you are an Indian, then chances of you becoming a CEO in the US is very high. Things have changed. Perspective has changed. The spotlight on Indians are better now. But what is the biggest stereotype you think?
I think Indians in different places are seen differently, right? I think if you see Indians in California, they're the top class, right? They're high IQ. It's a different environment. So Indians, as you have a whole range of Indians, that is the tough part, right? So it's a mixed bag of opinions and perceptions when you see Indians. So there is a stereotype. I think it's, you know, I'm not going to flatter everybody here, is that, you know, as much as we built the global Indian to that height, we right now have a lot of people fighting in the streets in London and everywhere else. There is this whole rhetoric. So I have to say this, these are tough times where that brand is being questioned, right? So I won't say one part, and I don't think I can justify it fully.
Fair enough.
It's just really a mixed bag of perceptions. But I think the perception and the positive note of the global Indians is gone way high, right? The Indian brand India has gone up. The country's brand has gone up. Many people, many Indians who have on high positions like Satya Nadella's and Sundar Pichai's, and not only that, so many CEOs of the world, Vijay here is come.
Yes,
Like all of those are perceptions, right? You always now have the perception that the Indian guy is the guy who is the most reliable guy in the team.
That's good.
Right? He's the one who will deliver, right? So that is the new perception. And that perception happened not overnight, because the Indian was a good student in the class, he was a good neighbor, he was a good employee, he was a good manager, he was a good CEO. So these perceptions have been, and it's across the board, because everybody have experienced something good about working with an Indian. You get it?
True. That's
so true. Everybody. So they have a very personal, with a doctor, with a nurse. They said, hey, these guys are not bad, because they encountered the Indian and saying, these guys are good. Yes. I think that is, if ever there is a stereotype, I think it's a stereotype that they're good people, they're decent people. These are people we can rely upon, we can welcome them as immigrants, and they will be an asset to the country. That is for sure.
It's so true that you say. In fact, Vijay is the portrait of a global Indian. I was just telling him, not because he decides my bonus, but because, I promise you, but because he lived in London for 50 years, the UK, but then decided to come to Dubai, transform our newsroom into a digital space, is bringing in the numbers. Well done, you. So I guess it's for people like you as well that I think this book is meant for. You should definitely put him on your list.
Yes.
Yeah, and the bonus is guaranteed.
Top 100 global Indians in
That's
Dubai.
That's it. Yeah, we've got it sorted for you. But tell me one thing. What's the one superpower that global Indians have? I can say I think it's adaptability. We can survive. We are hustlers of the best kind.
I think that's that's so true. I think Indians, they're hustlers in the good sense that I think it's hard work, it's determination, it's all of that. It's, the resourcefulness,
yes.
The entrepreneurship qualities. I think all of that, I think you can sum it up. Yeah, I think they hustle.
Really?
Hustle well, yeah, no question on that.
I love it. Indians are also known for jugaad. And by jugaad, I mean, we know how to get things done. Do you think that's also a superpower?
I think we've gone beyond jugaad.
Okay.
That's the good part. Because
I'm happy to
why
hear
is
that.
it good with jugaad, right? We don't use... Jugaad is a very temporary, it's a very survival skill.
True.
And it's like very limited resources, and it's for survival. I think we've moved up the value chain of jugaad to innovation. I think we are innovators today. We are innovators in Silicon Valley. So I think we went past the mechanic trying to figure out a string and to put something on the bike or in the car and to get things moving. I think I'd like to move beyond jugaad and go to, say, we are innovators.
I love that. Well, how do you think your company Y-Axis helped? Is there an unforgettable story? Like what he does is help Indians immigrate to other countries, right? So any unforgettable story you can tell us where you think you sculpted a global Indian and you felt responsible for their success?
See, a global Indian for me technically is a long journey, right? Someone has to go on a journey. I think I helped many Indians go abroad, right? And I think an Indian transforms, nothing changes an Indian like having an overseas stint, right? A long overseas, not just landing as a tourist, but on a long overseas stint, either to study, visit, settle down, it brings about the greatest change in an Indian who was in India and he goes abroad, that itself. from that angle, we have made tens of thousands, I have no count of it, of Indians who have gone abroad. And I don't have an individual story because they're typical.
Yes.
You get it, an extraordinary story of, a global Indian. There might be, there are many, but I can't particularly point out to one. But I think it's typical,
Yes.
Going abroad itself is a big change.
I love that. What goes through your mind when you say, let's say, A.R. Rahman take to the Oscar stage, or let's say Sania Mirza winning some titles? Do you feel a sense of reflected pride somewhere that, Indians have finally made it and the world needs us right now?
I think what the world needs right now is talent, And now when I say talent, I'm going to get very technical about it, right? And let's say you break down talent and you say, what is talent? It's skills, right? So there are elite skills, there are highly skilled, there are skilled, semi-skilled, and low skilled. The problems of the world can only be solved by elite skills, by someone who has elite skills. Neurosurgeons, AI, all of these, or biotech, or all of these. Nobody can solve those kind of problems. Like, you need to have studied well in school, got into a good college, got into a good work experience. That skill you would only get in the talent clusters of the world, right? From Bangalore, from Seoul, from Austin or San Jose or Boston. It takes a lot of experience, education, exposure to create that talent. You can't get that talent anywhere. All this migration, anti-migration, I'm telling, who is going to do all of that work? It's super complex. It's super complex. Again, elite skills like cardiologist. It takes a long time to create a cardiologist. You had to get up at 5 a.m. as a kid when you were 15, and it takes another 20, 25, 30 years to create a cardiologist or a computer science engineer. Yeah, so the world needs talent. Let's get that straight.
I love it.
The world needs highly skilled talent, elite skills, in great numbers. Not 2 people, not 3. You need 10,000, you need 100,000. Who has that talent? Where is that talent? It's not there anywhere, it's only in India. Anything else you can go to China and produce. You do it tip, 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 you can do it fast. But to create a good engineer takes 20 years. You need 20 years to do anything, 20, 30 years. There is no other source in the world that is in India.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's not going anywhere.
I love that. Before we let you go, of course, I know your time is precious. There's is there any one line in the book that you want everybody to take away? Even if, I'm sure they'll all read the book. I read it this morning. I thought it was brilliant. I'm going to do the homework sheets. Apparently, we have to do a bit of writing to discover who we are. But is there one line that defines the book?
No points for guessing. It's Bano Global Indian.
Done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As always, you've been truly inspiring.
Yeah,
and here is hoping all of us become global Indians just like you.
Yeah, all the best.